Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be installing WampServer. Now WAMP, spelled W-A-M-P, is a Windows web development environment that allows you to create web applications that use the Apache, PHP and the MySQL database, all from your local computer instead of an online web host. Now we need the Apache for our web server, PHP if we have any preprocessor forms that we would like to install, and MySQL if we need to have a database on our website also. So what are the advantages of installing a website on a local host or our computer? Well, effectively it gives us offline capability. In other words, we don't actually need an internet connection to be able to create a website and then browse that website that we've just created. A local development saves a whole lot of time and hassle. And if you make any mistakes on your local website, you don't have to worry about it crashing an online website, and that's one of the risks that we run when we try and make a lot of changes while a website is live. And finally, we get to learn a whole lot of new skills a lot quicker when we're doing things on our local computer instead of trying to do it through a web host over the internet. Righty-ho, well the first thing we're going to need to do to install WampServer is to download the executable file. So I'm going to start off by clicking on my web browser, and it doesn't really matter which one you use, and in the Google search bar I'm just going to type in WAMP. Now at the top of the search bar is WampServer.com, and this is where we want to go to download the WampServer program. So I'm going to click on downloads, and this takes us straight to the file that we need to be downloading. Now I'm not going to bother downloading this because I've already downloaded it, but if you haven't already, then you need to download WampServer 2.0 so we can carry on. So I'm going to exit out of there, and hopefully you've already got it. Now we're going to start the install process. So I'm going to double click on the WampServer executable file, and we're going to get straight into the setup wizard. So I'm going to click next. We're going to accept the agreement and click next. We're going to leave the default path as c:\wamp. Next, we want a quick launch and a desktop icon, and then we want to install it. Now WampServer is the only program you will need to install on your local computer that will enable you to be able to run a website locally. Righty-ho. Okay, so I've got a message here asking me if I want to overwrite an existing file. I'm going to click no. You won't actually get this because I've already installed WAMP on my computer, but since this is the first time you would have installed it, you won't actually see that message. And now we're going to finish. Okay, so here I have the icon WampServer on my desktop. Now I'm going to double click this, and down the bottom right hand side I have a new icon which has popped up, and this is our WampServer. And if we left click on it, we can see a range of options that we have. Now next I'm going to click Start All Services, but before I do that I must warn you, if you have Skype installed on your computer and Skype is currently running, then you need to turn it off, because Skype and WampServer cannot be running at the same time. It just will not work. So take my word for it, if you have Skype and it's running, you need to turn that off first before you start all services. So I'm going to click on Start now. Righty-ho, next I need to create a folder where I want to install my WordPress site. So I'm going to go to my Explorer window, and I'm just going to browse to C drive and scroll down to WAMP, which we've just installed. And if I click on this, I'll see a range of files and folders, and the one I'm interested in is www. Now if you're on a web host, it might be www, or it might be public HTML or something else to that effect, but for our purposes it is www. So I'm going to double click on this. Now I've already installed a couple of websites on my computer, but for the benefit of this example we're going to create a new one. So I'll just click New Folder, and we're going to call this Test. Righty-ho, that's that created. Next we want to install WordPress 3.0 or whatever the latest version is. Now if you haven't already got it, then we will need to open up our internet browser again, and WordPress, and we'll just scroll down to 3.0, and we'll click on the download link. And over here we have the download WordPress 3.0. Now again, if you don't already have this, then I suggest you click on this and download it now. But once again, I've already downloaded this, so I'm not going to bother. Right, so I will open up another window, and I will navigate to where I have this particular WordPress folder. So here it is here, WordPress 3.0. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click inside this folder. I'm going to select everything by pressing Ctrl A at the same time, and then I am going to right click and drag everything across to the test folder, and then I'm going to copy it in there. And that's just copying across all the files that we actually need to get WordPress installed onto our local host. Now if we click and test, we can see the files starting to populate. What we're going to have to do next is reconfig a file. So we have to change a few names in there, and the file that we need to change is actually wp-config-sample. So if we right click on this, select open with, and what we want to do is open it with Notepad. Now if Notepad doesn't come up, then I suggest you just click on the download link and select Notepad from wherever it may be hiding. I just have to know it's up the top, so I'm going to click OK. And here we can see the data inside the file. Now the three files that we have to change in here, or the three fields, are db name, db user, and db password. Now db name, we want to rename this the name of the folder that we created, so we're going to call this test. The db user, we're going to call this root, R-O-O-T, and no matter how many websites we create, the db user is always going to be root when it's installed on our local host. And finally, db password, we're just going to select and delete that. We don't really care about this since we're hosting it on our local computer just for test. Once we've changed these three fields, we're just going to go up File, Save, and we're going to close this. Righty-ho, next we need to change the name of this folder here from wp-config-sample, and we just want to get rid of the sample, so it's now called wp-config. So now we've changed everything in the WordPress so we have this up and running inside our test folder. Righty-ho, next we need to go down to the bottom right hand side, and we want to select, left click on the WampServer, and then I'm just going to browse up and click PHP My Admin. And if I've done everything correct, we should come into the screen that we see right before us. Now if we don't see the screen straight away, it could be that we need to go back down here, left click and start the services. It may be that the service is not running, or it could be that you have Skype running. So again, just double check if you don't come to this window straight away when we're in PHP My Admin. And you can see that all this is actually running in the folder localhost here on our computer. So what we're going to do is create a new database, and in this case I'm just going to call it test, same as our folder, and I don't need to change any other details. I'm just going to click create, and we've successfully created a database. Well, from here I actually want to get in and start installing WordPress. So we've done all the background work. Now what I need to do is localhost /test, the name of our folder, then /wp-admin / again install.php, and then I'm going to click enter. Wants my master password, and that's fine. And here we see WordPress. This is our welcome screen where we're going to give our WordPress site a a site name, username, etc. Well, site name, it could be anything, but again, I'm just going to run with test. The username, I'm going to leave that as admin, and password, I'm just going to put in a very weak password. Email, it does require an email address, so you want to put in a legitimate email. So I'm going to select this account, and finally at the bottom it says allow my site to appear in search engines like Google and Technorata. Now we don't want this site ticked, this radio box ticked, because we don't want Google indexing our site on our local computer. It's just going to use up more bandwidth and data, and at the end of the day we're just interested in building a site on our local computer so we can actually practice and have it good enough to upload live later on. Okay, so we'll put in our site name, username, password, and a valid email address, and now we're just going to click install WordPress. In success, we have successfully installed WordPress onto our local site. So let's go in and log in just to make sure that it's all working. Righty-ho, we log in. And here we go. We've successfully logged in to the dashboard of our new website called Test, and as you can see, this is what you would see if you were on a web host hosting the site anyway. While we're here, why don't we upload another theme? So currently the default theme is 2010 and it's a little boring, so let's quickly go down and install another theme. Now all the themes, obviously they go in WP-content, so we're going to click on the WP content. So again we're in the C drive, WAMP, www, test, WP content, and then we're going to click on themes. So we can see there's the 2010 theme, and I'm just going to go to a location where I know I already have some themes installed on my computer, and let's install the My Product theme. Okay, these are zipped, so I just need to dig in a wee bit further. We only want the theme, we don't want the Photoshop files, and here goes the theme here, My Product. Now we know I've gone too far when all of a sudden you see a bunch of PHP files and folders, so we just go back a wee bit. My Product, I'm going to right click, drag it over to my themes folder and copy it here. Righty-ho, now if I click on the website, and I'm going to refresh the page by pressing F5, and I should see another theme pop up, and there we have it. So let's go and activate that now, and let's have a look at our website. And there we have it. We have a new website, it's called localhost-test. We have a new theme, and it's a nice blank slate, so we can go in there and do with it whatever we please. And there we have it, folks. We have installed WampServer onto our computer. We have then installed a WordPress website onto the computer. We did this by creating a folder in the www folder. We created a database down here with the WampServer by clicking into the PHP local myadmin. We installed WordPress 3.0 into that folder. We changed the wp-config-sample folder, and we renamed those three fields of the DB name, DB user, and DB password. We then saved the file and renamed it from wp-config-sample to wp-config. After that, we logged in, we installed WordPress theme, and then from that point on we were able to get into the dashboard and start playing with our new website. So I hope you find this useful and easy to follow, and now you can go ahead and install and build as many websites as you like on your local computer. Have a very good day. Goodbye.